Welcome to the Saturday edition of the Box Seat. I'm Adam McGrath and joined by Mark Olmos. Mark, 8 races to take a look at, 2 stand out, but some horrendous weather to face as well.
Yeah, the weather will be the interesting part, but I'm very much looking forward to the lead up to the Belmont Classic, the Diana, and of course the Belmont Oaks, the Kieran Magumi Belmont Oaks.
It's going to be very good, but let's take a look at those conditions that we are going to be faced with. As you can see, there are potential storms, hail, everything is predicted here, some strong winds as well. Do make sure you take a look on social media for those updates. The movable rail is out at 3 metres as well, and we'll keep an eye on the track rating moving forward. But let's get straight into race number 1. It is over the 1,300 metres for the 2-year-olds. I suggest that we're going to have a short price favourite here, and understandable after the last start win.
Yeah, absolutely, Adam. That horse you're talking about is number 1, VEUVE de VEGA. Let's have a look at its last start win.
Trying to respond and getting an inside run, Burning Magic. Burning Magic slipped through to join VEUVE de VEGA. Slick Sam just started to struggle a little bit. Morden's Mill drove up behind them. Now Burning Magic dropped off and VEUVE de VEGA just bounded away from them. 2.5, 3 lengths in front is looking really good. Morden's Mill runs to second. Oregon Bronze moves up outside of Burning Magic in a good battle for third, but VEUVE de VEGA has waltzed home to win it well.
A lot of time for this galloper. We mentioned on Box Seat for a while. I think prior to that win, we'd been just waiting for it to salute and get the money, but it just had a couple of issues. The 1,200 metres last start was really good, led throughout on the soft track, and it managed to get the job done. But now, a couple of these horses made it better in the weight, 2.5 kilos in fact. It still won by 4 lengths and did it with these, but a wider barrier, 2.5 kilos. I don't think you're going to want to be leading in these conditions as well. So I think it actually brings the field closer together.
I think the form lines out of that race as well, they're not the greatest. It beat Malden's Mill by 4 lengths, and even Malden's Mill in this race has opened up far too short. They had a plan though on the wet track a fortnight ago to track wide, to stay 1-2 off the fence and lead. I think on that occasion in the soft ground, it just handled it better than the rest. Not that it went well in it, but it's going to have go through those conditions again, which will be interesting to see. We've also got in the race number 6, Jazari. Now, from the Parnham Yard, I'm really keen on this horse. If you have a look at its replay, which I suggest you do, it had to get off heels at about the 200 metre mark, and it was held up, got out and ran on nicely for third.
Yeah, it certainly did. I still prefer the other run from that race in No Dust on Me, but we watched this replay together as well yesterday, and it was interesting, analysed both, where No Dust on Me probably had the easier run. Jazari was looking to get out, couldn't quite, and then when Jazari did get out, I thought No Dust on Me finished better the final 50 metres, so it is a bit of a raffle between those two. I guess the positive is that they both got through that soft track well. No Dust on Me, of course, the mother there got through the wet track nicely too. So barrier 2, barrier 3, I think you can both have, there's not too much between them, but if you do want to take on the favourite, I think they do look at nice logical suggestions there, but I am going to go with number 1, VEUVE de VEGA. I think this horse has got a lot of class. From number 3, No Dust on Me, 6, Jazari and 2, Morden's Mill.
I've gone the 6 on top, Jazari, from 1, VEUVE de VEGA, 10, Burning Magic, and 3, No Dust on Me.
Race number 2 at Belmont Park. It's over the 1,600 metres, and a race that I'm really looking forward to here for different reasons as well. I think we've got probably the majority are genuine stayers. Then you've got proper andes and stocks who are at their ideal distance and probably rorted as well.
Yeah, the conditions will certainly test them out. It'll feel more like 2,000 and 1,600 metres. We'll have a look at last start winner, who was impressive, Shintamani.
Dark Musket Pike looks for the shortest way home. Verdello Blue going for the same run over towards the inside with him. Behind them, Uncle George Palace Intruder from the tail of the field. Shintamani's winding up down the crown of the track as Thunderclap Newman had hit the front. Drooper Palace Intruder keeps coming, and so does Shintamani with 100 still left to go. Shintamani over on the outside grabbed the lead. Drooper comes again, but Shintamani's too good for them. He's come from the tail. Shintamani.
Really good win by Shintamani there. Was quite bullish on Box Seat just because of the speed that was going to be in the race. And that's the key with her, is that they need to have that strong tempo through the early stages. She can wind up and then attack the line strongly. Now, the 1,600 metres, she's won over it before. She's won over the 1,690 as well. But I've got my queries regarding this field because a horse like a Proper Antes, which has form lines around it, Neverland and those types as well, I think more suited at this distance. But has one on a soft track, is in winning form as well. It's won 3 of its past 5. So I think you have to have it in your numbers. But I do think the drop back to 1,600 makes her vulnerable.
Had the nice weight swing on Dark Musket last start as well. We've also got number 3, Stocks, as you mentioned, over a mile, and in these conditions, this gelding by Exceeding Excel can certainly feature.
Sean Casey, Jake Casey, barrier 2, ticking a lot of boxes there as well. Soft track record, 4 attempts, 2 victories and a third, and has also had the 1 attempt at the distance for a win as well. This horse really came into its own last campaign. Speaking to Sean Casey after all of those runs, he mentioned that this horse is going to be a better 4 and 5-year-old as well, so I'm looking forward to seeing how it progresses. The soft track is a big bonus. As I said, the gate is ideal as well. I think Stocks is one of the leading contenders.
And And number 1, of course, number proper antis in equal class almost. Jordan Turner gets on here, takes off 2 kilos. I liked its run last start behind Military Ruler. Military Ruler went along at a really good clip out in front and just not so much pinched it, but just worked harder than the rest of them, had a few of them chasing, and I think proper anti, second time over the mile here, will certainly be fitter.
Best horse in the race by a mile, for my opinion. I think it's one of the better bets of the card. When you go through and take a look at the form lines, and this horse stepped up to the Perth Cup, and that was just because of its brilliance. This horse much more suited around that 16 to 1800 metres. We've seen that before with the runs behind Neverland and those types as well. But to step up to Perth Cup format and just have a throw at the stumps really because you're that good, I think it showed the class of this galloper. You mentioned the run behind Military Ruler in tremendous form. Has had 3 runs on a soft track, never finished outside the top 3, and has never finished outside the top 3 at the track and distance as well. Now gets a 2 kilo claim for Jordan Turner. I'm going to be tipping at number 1 Proper Antis on top from 3 stocks, 5 Don't Get Caught and 2 Shintamani.
Yes, 1 on top for me as well. Proper Antis from 2 Shintamani, 3 stocks and 4 the Mudlark, Fulga.
Race number 3 at Belmont Park. It's over the 1400 metres, a 72 plus event, and for mine, one of the harder races to split. There's some horses in some really good form here.
This is a nice race, this, especially one that's flying at the moment, Socially Unique, is one of its last 2. We'll have a look at its last start win.
Get caught the outside. Stocks is wider out trying to join him with a run, and then Reflectance, who's back in the centre. Flying Roar has raced up and taken the lead. Max Almighty, Stocks are giving chase, and Socially Unique is getting down the outside as well with Euro Sun. It's Max Almighty with Socially Unique, and then Stocks, Flying Roar, Socially Unique. Pike's going to do it. He's broken Paul Harvey's record, and Socially Unique has drawn clear.
Interesting galloper, Socially Unique, has always shown a little bit of class. The Belmont track record was actually pretty poor coming into this campaign. It had the 4 runs, had never run in the top 3, but now won its last 2 and just seems to be taking that next step. Now it has to go up in the weights. It gives 2.5 kilos to runners like Reflectance and also Flying Raw. Max Almighty gets 1.5 kilos on it as well, but the way that this horse just ran through the line, it's pretty hard to take it on. Barrier 3 gets a nice run as well. We know it handles the soft. I think it has to be in your numbers.
As does number 1, Mad Brad. Last start was super. Gets the claim here. Barrier 1. Had to get taken back to the inside that day. I think William Pike rode it and sort of blocked for a run. I had to go the inside. A Malibu Style just had a far superior run in transit.
Mad Brad is going to send me mad if this horse continues doing what it's doing. It looms up nicely and just seems to find trouble. Last 2 starts ago behind Peninsula, just couldn't quite get out and get that bullock in work. And then last start as well, held up as you mentioned, attacked the line strongly, but Malibu Style had already done the damage. Now the 2 kilo claim is an advantage here. Barrier 1 as well, has never finished outside the top 3 on a soft track from 4 attempts and has also run in the top 3 at the track and distance on all occasions as well. I think there's enough speed in this race that Mad Brad should be able to get that nice run and the claim should be the difference.
Number 10, Material Man, up in class, down in distance, back to 1400. I think it's much better suited, especially with the conditions we're going to get on Saturday. I think that tough testing ground will certainly help. I think he'll get through it. This gelding by Vital Equine. Barrier 4, Justin Warwick, Peter Nucky, 54 kilos is the big one for me.
I don't want to question Justin Warwick at all. He's talked this horse up a lot. So for mine, I respect that opinion. I'll be backing him. But I've got the question marks out for this galloper in this race now. The form lines are good, but Skellig, Pins perhaps, also never on time. They're nowhere near this class. Then the only time it's come on a soft track, it got beaten by Point. And I think we've all got the question mark out about Point now, where that horse is at as well. So on form, I don't think Material Man's anywhere near this field whatsoever. But we've seen the raw ability. We've seen that this horse continues to learn. Has only had the 5 starts, it has to be mentioned too. So still getting that education process. And the way that Justin Warwick's going at the moment, if he says a horse is good, then we have to take that on note. So I think the 54.5 kilos, a big bonus, as you mentioned. Barrier 4 is as well. If it comes out and win, I'm not going to be surprised, but I've struggled to have it as one of the leading chances in this race. And for that reason, I've gone with number 1, Mad Brad, from 6, Max Almighty, 2, Socially Unique, and 10, Material Man.
Yeah, I've gone with the 10, taking it on trust, Material Man. From 1, Mad Brad, 2, Socially Unique, and 4, It's It.
Race number 4 at Belmont Park. It's over the 1300 metres, and again an intriguing event here because we've got one that's changed stables in Tranquilla Sunrise that all of a sudden has just realised how to race and loves a soft track as well. You've got another one that is a dead set swimmer, rocks up with flippers and a snorkel even on a dry day and sometimes gets caught out, and that's Sir Park. Then you've got State Solicitor, which apparently is learning how to run and beating fields by over 3 lengths.
Yeah, that last start was just super impressive. We'll have a look at that run where it burst through for a nice win under William Pike.
He gets up on the inside. Now State Solicitor is starting to drive through in the centre. Serpac the outside, and then came DeAndes, and down the outside Tudor Bolt from Illusion of Light. State Solicitor has raced up and shot to the front from Tudor Bolt, Illusion of Light. State Solicitor, he's got the victory beyond reasonable doubt. He's raced away, State Solicitor. He's 5 in front of Illusion of Light and Tudor Bolt, and then Torino and State Solicitor.
Scary, isn't it, that this horse apparently is learning its trade and its legs don't do what its brain wants it to do either. And Bob Peters sort of reinforced that again on Wednesday when he had his winner, just saying that that horse and State Solicitor are backwards. If this horse is backwards, I think we all need to be very, very cautious about the future to come. Again, the form lines aren't super impressive, beating So Fancy and Illusion of Light, but it's the way that this horse has done it. Won by over 3 lengths on both occasions. Now gets barrier 3, handles the soft track. There's speed in the race as well, which I think will really suit State Solicitor. It'll be very short, and for mine, it'll be winning the race.
As you saw on the replay, back on the fence where it probably wasn't the place to be, and then took a needle eye opening. It was a smart performance, so improvement to come is very, very scary. We've also got in the race number 6 there, Patrimonio. I like this horse. It's still one on the up, but it runs into one that's very talented.
So much time for this galloper as well, and we're on it last start, managed to get the win. It was a strong performance. The form lines before that were really good as well, just continue to find trouble. I remember the run when beaten by Brazanto, came across heels and had no luck at all coming down the straight. The 7 career starts, has finished in the top 3 on 5 occasions, drawn nicely in barrier 6. I think the big positive here as well is that Patrick Carberry's elected to ride this galloper, so I give it a chance.
And we've also got, as you mentioned, the Mudlark, number 4 Serpac. It's opened up at 100 to 1. Last start, it sat outside the leader. It was on a soft track as well, but it sat outside the leader and probably did a bit too much work on that occasion. I think if they can get a cold ride, maybe 3 wide with cover from barrier 12, I think it could be running into a place.
Don't get me wrong, Serpac could finish right at the back of the field, and the form line suggests that was always going to happen. But there's certain horses that when the rain comes in Perth, you have to take note of, and this is probably one of the biggest ones that we've seen in the West. It is a completely different horse when it is wet. You get the 3 kilo claim for Sarah Bonner as well, carrying the 54 kilos. 12 attempts on a soft track, has won 6 of those and finished 3rd on 2 occasions as well. If you can take the place, or if you can take State Solicitor out and back it for the win, I'd be doing it. Just on that exact record, as I said, could certainly fade, and the recent form lines had been pretty average. The last 4 runs, it hasn't got within 6 lengths of anything, but happy to take it on that face value and put it in my numbers. I am going to tip number 5 State Solicitor, but 4 Serpac has to be worth a place bet from number 1 Tudor Bolt and 6 Patrimonio.
Yeah, 5 on top for me, State Solicitor. From the 6 Patrimonio, 8 Bjorn to Love and 4 Serpac.